to this lesson, we are going to be doing simultaneous equations using the method of elimination. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to show understanding of the steps for solving simultaneous equations by elimination method, and also be able to solve equations using the elimination method. Right, now let's look at steps to use. So the steps which you need to follow when solving equations simultaneously: number one, just like in substitution method, is to label the equations 1 and 2. That is just for identity, so that you don't get confused, to distinguish the two equations. And then step number 2 now is to identify the variable you want to eliminate first, and then you multiply each of the other equation with the coefficient of the variable of the other equation to be variable to be eliminated. Then subtract the resulting equation 2 from resulting equation 1, and solve for the remaining variable. Then step 4, you substitute the value of the variable in step 3 into any one of the original equations and solve for the other or the second variable. Let's do an example so that you understand what's going on. Right, example number 1, you are given 2x plus 3y is equals to 7 and x minus y is equals to 1. Right, simultaneously using the method of elimination or by elimination. So step 1, we label each equation 1 and the other one equation number 2 to distinguish them. Then step number 2, we identify, like in this case, I'm going to eliminate the variable y. So if I'm going to eliminate the variable y, equation number 1, I will multiply it with the variable of y in equation number 2, and then which will give me, right, and then equation number 2, I will multiply it with the coefficient of y in equation number 1, which is 3, right, and then that will give me that. So the first equation, now if I multiply it by -1, it becomes -2x minus 3x is equals to -7. The second equation becomes 3x minus 3y is equals to 3. Remember, this is equation number 1 and equation number 2. Right, moving on. Now I subtract equation number 2 from equation number 1. So I'm going to say step number 4, I'm going to say -2x minus 3x and -3y minus 3y is equals to -7 minus 3y. So this gives me, so you see that it will give me -6x, 3y minus 3y minus 3y becomes a naught or a 0, which will be equals to -10. Then I solve for x, so my x is going to be 5 all over 3. So step 4, I'm going to substitute x is equals to 5 all over 3 into equation number, any one of the two equations. So I will remember, to make your life simple, always use the simpler one. So in this case, I'm going to use x minus y is equals to 1. That is the one I'm going to use now. So to make it simpler, always keep it simple. So now I say 5 all over 3 minus y is equals to 1. I then solve for y, and then my y will be equals to 2 all over 3. So I've solved. When x is 5 all over 3, then y will be equals to 2 all over 3. Right, moving on. Now we go to another example. Example number 2, they say solve 3x plus 4y is equals to 14 and 2x plus 5y is equals to 21 simultaneously by elimination again, or using the elimination method. So the first step is to label my equations, equation number 1 and equation number 2, right? The next step is now to identify what I want to eliminate. So here I'm going to eliminate the variable x. So I'll choose, remember to keep it simple, so you choose that variable with the coefficients that will make your life easier. So I'm going to choose x. So if I choose x, I'm going to multiply equation number 1 with 2 and equation number 2 with 3. So I do that. So this gives me, for equation number 1, 6x. So it's 2 multiplied by 3x gives you 6x. 2 multiplied by 4y, it gives you 8y. 2 multiplied by 14 gives you 28. And then you say 3 multiplied by 2x, it gives you 6x. 3 multiplied by 5y, it gives you 15y. And 3 multiplied by 21 gives you 63. So equation 1 and equation 2. Now I subtract equation 2 from equation 1. So 6x minus 6x, it's a 0. 8y minus 15y, it's 7y, equals to 28 minus 63 is going to be negative 35. Then I solve for y, and then my y will be equals to 5. I substitute that into any one of the original equations, and then I solve for x. So in this case, my x is going to be negative 2. My x will be negative 2. So I have solved the equations simultaneously using the elimination method. Moving on, example number 3. Right, they say example 3, solve for f of x all over 5 minus 3y all over 2 is equals to 10, and 4x plus y is equals to 2. Simultaneously by elimination, or using the elimination method. All right. So there we go. Now what I do, step number 1, I label my equations, equation number 1 and equation number 2, and then I identify which variable to eliminate. So you can see here, I'm going to remember to keep it simple again. So I'm going to eliminate y. Why am I eliminating y first? Because you can see the coefficient of y in the second equation, it's 1. So remember to keep it simple is the idea. So now we proceed. So I multiply the first equation by 1, it remains the same. I multiply the second equation by negative 3 all over 2. So it gives me negative 6x minus 3 all over 2y, and then minus 3. And then I subtract equation number 2 from equation number 1. So if I say 4x all over 5 minus 6x, it's going to give me 34 all over 5x, which will be equals to 10 minus 3 is going to be 13. And then I solve for x. My x is going to be equals to x, it will be 65 all over 34. And then I substitute x is equal to 65 all over 34 into any one of those equations. So I'm going to substitute into equation number 2. So and I solve for y. My y will be equals to negative 96 all over 17. So I have solved. So that is how you use the elimination method. I hope that was very helpful. Okay, please try to attempt more examples so that you can grow confident in using this method. Okay.